Everyone has something to share, in either wisdom, story, or logic. And it's clearly amazing to hear all the differing missing links discovered by people, unique to their own journeys, and in how they have come to discover them. Together, we can help to build a bigger picture for a better future, for a brighter tomorrow. Let's stand united. Let's remove the veils, and let's create a new world together. Are you that missing link? Join Jesse Hale on the Missing Link Talk Show as he helps to unveil the mystery through the unique wisdom and store of others.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome, everybody here back to the Missing Link. Today we're excited to have Elena Danaan here for the second time. She's had a very wild experience from a young age at 9 years old, and she's gone through so much, throughout her life. So she's going to share her story with us here today. How are you doing today, Elena?
Hi, Jess. I'm really, really good and very looking forward to this. Thank you for inviting me again.
You're very, very welcome. So why don't we start off with you telling us, about your story for maybe people that didn't hear that the first time, just share it, with, everyone, just so they know, who you are and the stuff that you've kind of gone through in your life.
Sure. Well, I'm an archaeologist. I was born in France, as many will guess with the accent, and living in Ireland. I was abducted at the age of 9 by grey aliens at the time where these agendas of hybridization were going around. And I was rescued by the Galactic Federation of Worlds. It was a crew of a ship whose job it was to rescue as much kids as they could. And I was one of the kids. So they rescued me and they kept contact with me. They became my friends throughout the years and until throughout to this day, where now I have more serious interaction with them because they pass on to me messages they made of me an emissary for the Galactic Federation of Worlds. So I'm passing on these messages and these updates, and it's a tough work, but I have the passion for that. So that's who I am.
That's awesome. So you had an early experience when you were 9 years old. Could you maybe share a little bit about that experience, that that obviously that stuck in your head, because it was so fascinating and traumatic.
Yes. Well, I was abducted by 4 greys, a crew of small greys from Zeta Reticuli, and they took me on board their ship in the middle of the night. But I need to say that previous to this, there was a UFO sighting over the house. There was a huge flying saucer, glowing orange, that was hovering above the house. There were many witnesses, papers, etc. They started to do hybridization procedure with me, means activating my hormones and preparing me to be fertilized later. It starts around the age of 8, 9, or 10 with girls, and they start up hybridization, fertilization process by doing some kind of hormonal preparation. And they take the person all their life to breed as a factory cattle, mother cattle, little hybrid for their agenda. So I was supposed to be taken into this, as so many women have. But it didn't work out well for them because I was rescued. So the ship, the Greys, was hijacked. It was like these 2 tall men with spacesuits just teleported in it, and they start fire everywhere, shot all the Greys. And so it's interesting to notice that the crew of this Grey ship, there was only one biological entity. The other ones were synthetics, so like androids, synthetics. So these ones were shot. But the biological one, who was the supervisor and probably ship captain. He was the brain for all of this. One of my rescuers was so angry, and they saw a lot of things, not very nice. So he strangled to death this small gray supervisor, and that was shocking. I was already terrified, traumatized, everything that they were doing to me. But then seeing that wasn't the most terrifying, but it was terrifying to see a small gray alien being strangled to death. It's ugly, and it's the picture is still there. These two men teleported me on board their ship afterwards, and was more breathable, and they took care of me. They laid me down on a medical table. They healed me. There were other people on board. There were 3 men and 1 woman, all from different regions, but all tall blonde, not all tall, but all blonde humanoids. And they brought me back home to Earth afterwards, but they kept contact with me. And what happened on board the ship is that the Greys put trackers in their victims. So they put a tracker in my head, the Greys. So the first thing that was needed to do was to get rid of this tracker. The timing was very, very short. So they tried to remove it, but it was put in a way that it was tricky, needed more time. So they decided to fry it, leave it and fry it. And as they destroyed it by frequencies, they had this idea to use the technology to reactivate it at their own frequency. So they recalibrated this tracker to become a communicator implant. And that's how I kept in contact with them. They look after me all my life. I have a particular link with one of the crew. His name is Thorhan, so we can communicate by telepathy, but for important messages, we use the implant that I receive clearly the words.
So, how is your communication now? And it's a little bit, sometimes the sound kind of is going a little bit in and out. I'm not sure if your microphone, some people are saying it's a little bit hard to hear you. So I'm not sure what kind of mic you're
Yeah,
using, but if you could maybe go a little
so
bit closer to it would be better.
it's a Yeti. It's a perfect. No. It's I told you. I warn you. StreamYard is not my friend. So I put the sensitivity maximum, and I hope it works like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works
Yeah.
like this. Okay.
So what kind of communication are you in with now? And, what kind of state, of the world kind of are we in right now?
Well, the star system was liberated last year from the Orion group, the Greys, and also the Reptilians, the red-received Reptilians, the Citar. The star system was cleared, and now it is up to us on Earth to take care of the human equation, the human elements, to really make it through. And but that's on Earth. In the events, there are 2 layers and 2 speeds and 2 layers. There is the civilian people, the civilian life, the politics, what is the surface of what's happening. And then you have all the secret space programs who are not secret anymore, and there's one else in SSB that is soon going to fall. These people have had been working with the Galactic Federation of Worlds since the 1950s, and they've built programs together of protection and defense of the star system. One of these programs was Solar Warden, And so these people have great interactions with EPs and the Alliance. What they call the Alliance is an alliance of different factions in this galaxy who work for the greater good against the Orion Greys, against the Scar Empire. The Alliance includes the Galactic Federation of Worlds, the Andromedan Council, the Zenatian Alliance, I would say, and the Council of Five, and then little small organizations. That's three big ones. So this big alliance, Galactic Alliance, is working with the secret space programs. Good one. You have different agendas, different programs, but the good ones. And so that the two speed, the two worlds, but that are merging. So the civilian world is catching up at great speed to the reality of things. Humans in space, we have already colonies in other star systems. And so we are catching up very quickly, but in a way that it doesn't create chaos. So,
Yeah, are you still communicating with Thor? Someone is asking.
or harm, yes, on a daily basis. Yes.
Okay, and yeah, the microphone is, a lot of people are having a hard time hearing. It's
I thought
unfortunate this StreamYard
it's StreamYard.
is not the best of, yeah, the somehow the microphone, it's cutting. I could understand most of what you were saying, but um what's happening, like, in the next month or two that people should be preparing themselves for?
To stand up against the tyranny, the people who instill fear and who try to control you by fear, by scaring you. But there's a lot of programmed agents from the side who have come forward and who are pushing an agenda of fear. And it's the topic at the moment. These agents are pushing, have been pushing, that was prepared since the 1940s, pushing an agenda of alien salvation, fake catastrophic event coming from the sun. That's fake, that's not going to happen. To scare people, to make them dependent. Once you're scared, you are controllable. You will do anything they tell you to do. That's this. And then they say that bad people will come and say there are good aliens coming to save everyone. That's what they want, but they want to just kill the population, Come on board our ships, you're going to be saved. The earth is going to whatever explode or whatever. That's stupid. That's the agenda of the dark. But that's not going to happen because we have good people looking after us. So what you should be prepared is to take no shit. Just anything that looks like alien attacks or phenomenons in the sky that could look like catastrophic, or don't believe it. It's all holographic projections. Okay, the military is being trained at the moment, conditioned to believe in that, to bring forward, to help bring forward this psyop. But I know that fortunately it will not complete. It will not happen. They are going to try to start it, but so do not fear anything, and anything you see that looks like an alien attack, it's fake. It's fake. So it's holograms. They're very good at that. So just whatever. Look away.
I heard that the fake alien invasion is supposed to happen, I think, in 2023 or 2024, where it's they've had that plan. But do you think that, the way things are going, that isn't going to happen because these people are going to be stopped before then, and we can start to get to peace, and things can start to get better for everyone here?
But the dates, we must not focus on dates because plans are changing all the time, and it's been a temporal war for the last decade, so dates are not reliable. What's reliable is the facts. The facts is that they're cornered and they're trying to push their agendas as fast as possible, the last cards as fast as possible before they are totally completely out. So that's the, I do not have dates. I think they are navigated at sight. They're navigating at sight, these people, and it will not happen because we are looked after. But just there may be maybe some holographic display in the sky. Just ignore. If it
Are
looks like an alien invasion or attack, the bad aliens have been gone from the star system. Gone. And if someone comes, I'm going to rescue you, F off. Because no, it's not genuine. Rescue from what? We are not in danger. We are not in danger regarding to cosmic events. There's no cosmic event. Okay? There's no solar flash. The sun, this star, is shifting in a higher density. So it's all good. It's all good. There's no dramatic extinction event. That's the narrative of the dark and their agents. So relax and focus on yourself. You need to focus on yourself, reconnect with who you are, your sovereignty, your power, your abilities. Who are you? That you need to really connect on that and focus on unity. Stop being distracted by taking part into conflict orchestrated by the dark. Yes, that will be the last.
sounds like you're optimistic about, what's to come,
Yes,
for things. So you are in a good place, that, we're finally going to come together as people and start to heal again.
absolutely. Absolutely. I've seen it a few times. It's stable. This timeline is now stable. And the future is amazing. The future is a federated world. Of course, humans are humans, and we will have always different points of view, which is totally healthy. It's amazing. It's good. But we will not have big wars who are instilled by, have been instilled by the Dark Ones all these centuries, millennia. This will not happen anymore. There will be a civilization of unity, of wisdom, united in awareness of being unique in our kind. I mean, humans of Terra. And in the future, very near future, once we are liberated, it's going to go very fast, very, very fast. So fast that it's going to be shocking because we're catching up. We're catching up at the point where we need to be in our evolution, and that's going to be very fast. And we're catching up with the space programs who are already in time. It's just the civilians of Earth who have been fooled. Well, the future is amazing. The Earth repairs itself, nature grows even more, and we have colonies. Humanity grows and grows and grows, and have colonies in other planets and star systems. It's going to be really nice. If you want to see that, I'll come back to see that.
Are you like an Earth ambassador then?
Not ambassador. Ambassador is a diplomatic position. I'm emissary, which is below an ambassador. It's transmitting messages, but I do not have a diplomatic position. I'm a messenger.
So is that something you would like to become a diplomatic ambassador? Like, is that something you would look towards in the future?
Well, that would be the following step to what I'm doing.
So you say you have a new book coming out. Could you maybe tell us about the book?
Yes, it's going to be called The Seeders, those who have seeded the seeds of humanity on Earth. And these people are, so I relate my encounters with these people who are coming from other galaxies. They are part of the Intergalactic Confederation. They have arrived in our star system in October 2021. And I was put in contact with them, I even went on board their ship twice. And I talk about all this, about my encounters also with other beings, other cultures. And this is coming soon, September. Um, and yes,
Where can people find your book?
it will be available on Amazon and on my website, elenadanaan.org, as soon as it is out.
Awesome. Yeah, the audio is like really hard and to hear,
Um,
so we really appreciate you spending the time. Is there maybe any other messages you wanted to share? Because I don't know how long we should keep this on because it is kind of hard. The audio's kicking out, but I can understand most of what you're saying, but a lot of people are having a hard time hearing you.
yes, yes. Be kind to each other. Work on erasing your differences. Of find a common ground. Stop arguing, and consider yourselves as part of a planetary civilization, a planetary culture, with one race, the Terrans, the humans of Terra. That's who you are. So we need to grow to a higher, broader perspective, planetary perspective. So unite.
Are you traveling off of Earth very often, or like what's that like for you?
Yes, of course I do physically. I never know when it's gonna happen for safety reasons. They never tell me long before, and I do maybe once a week that rate. That's very often, and I'm traveling. Yes, yes.
So how do they let you know when they're coming? Do they get you got a little pager where it beep beep, and then you're like, you got to go outside, and they're gonna come take you away?
Well, I am told a few hours before, and by a message, and it said you will be teleported if I want. Of course, I will be teleported. They give me a range of hours. It's sometimes between 4 hours. So between these 4 hours, I need to be ready and wait. And just before, like 5 minutes before, I have another message. Be ready, and we're taking you. Okay.
So when they send you a message, do they send you like a fax or an email, or is it like a telepathic message that you get?
So it's like a radio message. It's via the implant. So I hear it in my head.
So you got like an internal fax machine.
Yes, that's it. Without paper.
The paper doesn't come out the mouth.
No.
That would be awesome. The human fax machine.
Oh,
Here's your message. So when they take you off, do you get nervous? Were you ever nervous? Does you get physical? Like, do you get like maybe you want to throw up, like because you're going through these places? Like, do you feel any physical effects from leaving Earth?
I feel excited because I know what is going to happen and where I'm going. But the first times, yes, the first times I felt a bit dizzy or like seasick because I was stressed. So when you are teleported, you need to be in a positive frequency, a frequency of peace and settled, calm. If you have an emotional state, it is going to be difficult. It is going to be painful, and you're going to be sick. You need to be really relaxed and calm, and everything is going to be all right. The sensation, though, even when I'm calm, is the same. It's like a fizziness in my body, like infinite number of little small tiny needles. That's the particles of my body that just are teleported. And so it's not a teleportation like in Star Trek where they send particles to another destination. No, it's a quantum teleportation. That means that you disappear at one and you appear at the other point. And there's nothing in between. It's quantum. So it's way more safe. It's resonance. Teleportation.
So it's like your consciousness gets teleported there.
Oh, my body.
So your body comes
Nothing.
with the consciousness, but it's like it's an instant. It's quite instant.
It's time to count to 5 or 6 seconds.
Wow, that's really fast. Susan from our Facebook asks, where do they take you?
Usually on board a scout ship, and because it's the most convenient, and then with the scout ship, I can go on the space station. I have a space station, there are many. Or sometimes directly on the space station where my friends are, but that's a more powerful teleportation because the distance is longer. So usually it's on the scout ship, which is just hovering above the house, above the clouds. No one sees it. It's usually when it rains, or I live in Ireland, so it's very, very handy. It's always cloudy, so the ship can really be on low altitude. Sometimes
When
I
you
feel the statics in the hair on my arms. Like buzz in my ears, and I have statics.
Now, when you're teleported to the scout ship, do they have windows? And have you ever seen like the Earth, what the actual shape is as you're flying away? Because they show us all these images of NASA and the space station and things like that, but nothing looks real. And so, have you actually got to see like the Earth shape of the Earth and see it spinning, or is it kind of like closed windows where you can't really see outside the windows?
Okay, to get that done, the Earth is a sphere, and the flat Earth theory is a sail. Okay, so that's done. The ship, a scout ship will have no window. It depends on the space station. You have windows. On the scout ship, you don't have windows because it's how the ships are made, and it wouldn't work with the navigation, the electromagnetic field. You need to have part of the ship totally uniform, on one piece. You can't have holes in it. So there are screens that broadcast what is outside if you want to see it. And so scout ship, no, it looks like windows. Honestly, you think it's windows, but it's screens. And but the real windows I looked through to the universe itself on the space station. Well, Galactic Federation of Worlds, battle station. You know, there are 138 motherships just from this galaxy in this star system, and there's about 500 motherships of the Intergalactic Confederation, or around the orbit of Earth. But it's a lot of ships.
And are you human?
This body I am incarnated into is human. Yes.
But you believe your past life or you've come from other places?
Earth is not my planetary matrix. My soul and consciousness developed on another world.
And do you miss it? Do you want to go home?
No, I don't miss it because I know I go home whenever I want. And missing is a feeling, missing a place is a feeling that you get rid of. That something is that dissolves once you reach out to a higher state of consciousness, because you can be anywhere you want throughout your memories, throughout your consciousness, but also you can travel physically to places. So if you want to go, I have access to this kind of travel, so I could go, but I don't because I concentrate on my work here. I've been to other places. My planetary soul matrix is very far. Um, I know I'll go there. Missing a place. It must not be in a bad way, because otherwise it lowers down your vibration and it distracts you from your mission. From your soul journey. You're here for a purpose. You've chosen to be here, and you have a purpose. You've chosen it. So remember it. And it's not the moment, especially not now, to want to be somewhere else. We are here to do a job, and we've chosen to. So I look forward to see my world again.
Do you think Jesus was an alien, like Greg from our Facebook is saying here?
I think it was a hybrid, with a lot of galactic and intergalactic genetics. Yes, yes, it was a hybrid. The soul wasn't from this planetary matrix either. But yeah, that's what I believe.
Have you ever met Jesus? Or
No,
Yeshua, what his name would, Yeshua, I guess would be his real name.
no, I haven't, and I don't know where he's being. He's I no, I haven't.
What do you know about the Ashtar command?
So the Ashtar command is the Ashtar Galactic Command is a faction that has separated from the Ashtar Alliance, Galactic Alliance. So that originated in the Sirius B star system. The Sirius star system, Ashkira, is very near to the Orion zone, where you have the Nebu, the Great and Nebu Empire, Nebu Hive. So the star system of Sirius B had a lot of civilizations that had developed there, and they wanted to protect themselves. So to create this alliance, and Ashtar means the seat of, or the seat of light, because it's all about Sirius A, which is really overwhelming in this area, and it's really bright light. So all the star systems around Sirius A, I mean B and C, are really this bright light. So that's why the word ash is in light, bright light is in a lot of things. So, this Ashtar Alliance was a military development to protect the star system from the Nebu Grays. Then they got infiltrated by the Nebu and the Reptilians, the Sicars. So they turned to the enemy. But then there was separatists who decided to form their own military faction, and they named themselves the Ashtar Galactic Command. And they are rogue mercenaries, and they are on board ships in space. And there is actually, so they work for different organizations who offer the services, because they're very good military, and to anyone who wants to fight the Nebu Grace. So there is an outpost of the Galactic Command on Jupiter, and they work for the Galactic Federation of Worlds here in the star system. So I've been on that star, the station. Yes, it was very impressive. Not incredible, but very impressive. So that's what I know from the Ashtar Galactic.
What do you know about fairies, and have you seen any here, like actual fairies? Because they say we only see maybe 10% of the what's actually happening around us, and some people see more than others. Have you been able to see fairies? And could you maybe describe that experience if you have?
Yeah, I see them. They are in the fourth density. I live in Ireland, and here they are really, really crowded with fairies and fairy people. I see them. So there are different types of fairies, different races and different species even. So you have the elementals, you have what we call the pixies, you have the shining ones, elves, the tall ones, the she, and it's a lot of different creatures and hybrids and animals. I see them because I see in the fourth density. It's the same. Some of them live in nature where there are forests, and some of them live in inner earth and they come throughout mounds or wells. Um, so I have interactions with them. They're usually nice. Yes.
Do aliens have like mates? Do they have like boyfriends and girlfriends or husbands? Like, or they like, are they one sex? Is there male and females, or they're, do you know, could you maybe explain a little bit about, what you know about, other beings and their nature?
Yes, oh, that's such a vast subject. I recommend to watch my Q&A, Alien Sex Rights. It's on my channel. The playlist Q&A. I did a Q&A on this. Well, it depends on the species, you know. So they pretty much all humans are binary and they are like us, like parents, and they reproduce like everyone else. And some have when you some have reached a certain degree of consciousness, development of consciousness, and they share love. They don't say making love; they say sharing love with their consciousness. And this is an experience that is not reachable in the third density Earth. You know, and this is the melting of two souls in one, and it's very alchemical. There's a lot of to say about that. Otherwise, you have so many different species. I mean, the universe is teeming with life. And I know even a species who has 6 genders, and each of them has a part to play in the reproduction. So it's so vast. I could speak about that for hours. All possibilities are out there.
Susan from our Facebook is saying, where can I find her channel to listen to your Q&A? If the website that's scrolling at the bottom here, can they find all your channels and how to reach you?
When you see my name, Elena Danaan, on the bottom, just here, that's the name of my channel. So just type that on YouTube and you'll see me.
So yeah, Susan, so her name is Elena Danaan. All you have to do is put that into YouTube, and then that will pull up her YouTube channel, and then you'll be able to find her Q&A and different stuff. What about for you personally? Do you have like an Earth boyfriend or husband, or do you have an alien one? Do you have both? Like, how does that, or is that something you can even talk about?
Well, that's right. I will keep my privacy on this matter.
Okay, that's fair enough. Um, is there some aliens that are looking to mate with humans? I know you had your experience, at a very, very young age, but that was kind of being forced on you. Is that what they're looking? Are they trying to intermate with humans and, create these hybrid beings?
Yeah, but that's we are out of this now on Earth. But since um, I would say since the 1940s, this has been going on with Greys and working with Reptilians, with the dark government. They have been since before the Eisenhower administration's agreements. We all know about that, 1954 and 5. Anyway, yes, that has been going on like a factory. The tall grays from the Orion Zone, the Alliance of the Six, which includes Nebu, reptilians, and other species, they have been working like crazy at creating hybrids for repopulating Earth with them. So that's the plan, to breed themselves in, because they cannot attack, kill everyone and take the planet, because the Galactic Federation of Worlds will just cut them. They cannot do that, but they can coerce people to welcome them. Then they're in their right. And so these hybrids have been bred, and they are on ships out of the star system. But the Greys they are interdimensional beings. They have abilities that if you call upon them, or you connect telepathically, you can make a link. The thing is, the millions of women who have served as reproduction mothers, well, they all have a genetic link with these hundreds of hybrids that have been created from them. So they have a link, and they use these women, as kind of ambassadors, or to talk about this agenda. And because they have the DNA link, the frequency link with the hybrids they've been bred, breeding. Um, what the Greys want is that we welcome them back by welcoming the hybrids among us. And that's another mistake that we must not do. But it's fine now because the Galactic Federation of Worlds has had enough these guys, and they modified the Prime Directive that if ever these hybrids were to come to Earth, they will be stopped, whether we want it or not. So because that's enough now.
Do you know of any 9-foot tall women that have blue skin and black hair? Because Wendell's looking for his ideal woman, and that's what he's saying, a 9-foot blue skin with black hair. Do you know where he would have to look?
That I don't know, but there are a lot of blue skin races in the universe. So it's not Ohorai, which actually they are very known for rubies because I have no hair. But you may be a hybrid. The thing is, you have types of races. You need to know that they all have intercourse with each other. They mix. So sometimes you have beings who look a certain way, but they may have Zenatian father, Horai mother, or Tal father. You never know. So no, I don't know to answer these questions. She must be really, really beautiful. But she have golden eyes.
Are they monogamous, these aliens? Once they find a mate, they stick to one, or are they very, kind of trying to reproduce and recreate everywhere that they possibly can? Because I know a Jamaican guy once told me his dad said, "Be fruitful and multiply." So he had, I think it was 21 kids from 17 different baby mamas. So, he took his dad's words, to heart.
Why not? It depends on the species. It depends on the culture as well. For instance, for the other humans, uh, there are cultures who are very free, and they are experiencing and enjoying themselves a lot. But once they decide to mate with their companion, it's forever, for life. So that's it.
Do you know what dragons are, and are they a race?
Oh my god, I made a video as well. Let's talk about dragons on my YouTube. Let's talk about dragons. There are different types of dragons. There are the beings of the ancient earth, inner earth. You have the earth guardians. They are etheric beings who look like Chinese dragons. You have also extraterrestrial reptilians who are taken for dragons. There's a lot. I explain everything in my video. Let's talk about dragons.
So are they still dragons then here, but they're in inner Earth and different places? Like there are still dragons on Earth? And was that what they tried to say was dinosaurs, but they were actually dragons and they're, or were there actual dinosaurs as well?
As well, there are so many things that you can put in a category dragons, There are, I met one. There are dragons on this planet in under the earth. And there's also elemental dragons who are etheric dragons. They carry the energies of the elements also. And most of these dragons living the physical animals, creatures, live under the earth in a higher density most of the time. Because the more you go towards the center of the earth, the higher the density raises.
Now, with all of the intermixing, that they're trying interbreeding, intermixing, is there lots of, humans here with special abilities, like say kind of like the X-Men, how there's lots, is that based maybe on reality that people are going to start to find out more and more what kind of these special abilities are because for one, we may have them, or two, maybe some of these interbreeding stuff may have some anomalies where people can start, shooting flames out their eyes or like, certain things that we see maybe as an exaggeration in the X-Men, but will people start to, gain more and more of these, kind of skills?
That would be a natural, normal state of being human when we reactivate, because we all have different types of alien DNAs in these bodies. I recommend your audience to look for Jean-Charles Moyen. He is a French SSP. He made videos with Dr. Salah, Michael Salah. He's just released his last movie. Today is a filmographer. He released today a movie about his life, Starseed Revelation 2. And this guy can teleport physically. He teleports physically. There's all the evidence in his movies. It's incredible. They interview his parents. There are scientists studied evidences. This guy is one of the great examples of what we can do as human beings. We can all do that. Well, at the moment we are activated and we have the right DNA.
And how would you suggest people, kind of get in touch with more of these abilities and skills that, they may right now possess?
The secret is to go within, to discover who lives inside of this body, reconnect with this being, and do that every day. Spend time with who you are, and you will start to feel that you are more powerful because when you tune in with who you are inside, you tune in a higher frequency. And in this higher frequency, you're able to do stuff, to see further, to move objects at distance, go within, and every day it's a practice. You need to declutter millennia of conditioning, of, of enslavement. You need to declutter all of this. It's possible just by meditation.
Here's Sonia from the YouTube. She says, let gifts unfold naturally. Don't try to push it and
Yes.
protect yourself. Is there maybe
Yes.
some dark entities trying to force people to do things out of character in order for them to maybe control some of these gifts that they may have?
Oh my God. Yes. Very, very, very good point from this person. Thank you for mentioning that. As I recommend meditation every day, just meet who you are and let it unfold, let it flow, and see what happens. Do not try to force it. Now, especially with the millennials, the young people, they started to want to everything quick, now, now, now. They've been raised like this. Everything is a given. It doesn't work like that. The universal laws don't work like that. You need to practice, to train, and to be patient. And it will come or not in time. Now, young people want wanting everything very quick. They meditate 5 minutes, it doesn't work, so they are going to look on the internet for a book or a guru or someone who's going to pretend to do the work for them. And that's where the traps are, and that's where the predators are. So the only way is to go within. All these people who pretend to activate others, I wouldn't go there. You need to do the work yourself. I always refer to the butterfly, the caterpillar, the chrysalis. Nobody does the transformation for the caterpillar. He does it himself, you know. And if you help him, to open the chrysalis, the butterfly dies because it needs to suffer and struggle to pierce the chrysalis because the influx of blood will go into its wings. Otherwise, if it doesn't struggle, it will never have the strength to fly. I like to remind other people, you do the work. No one does it for you.
That's really good advice. Greg from our Facebook really wants to know if you know where humans came from. And he's like, are humans alien to planet Earth? And then one more was, do you believe in God of the heavens? So all kind of three kind of questions, kind of same kind of balled into one.
Yes. Human genome has been seeded in this galaxy by the Intergalactic Confederation, the 24 seeder cultures. They brought this from other galaxies. They seeded it first in the constellation Lyra, in these star systems there. And from there, people have been colonizing the galaxy, and in the same time, later on, the seeders have seeded human genome on other planets, in other constellations and star systems. But Lyra was the first place. So on Earth, they were there also, and they took a primitive creature and they mixed it with 11, actually no, 10 genomes, it was 11 with the creature. And afterwards, as time passed, we ended up with 22 different genomes. But that's what happened. We are an amazing, beautiful experiment, and they're very proud of us. They love it so much. Regarding to God, yes, I acknowledge the existence of a superconsciousness, universal superconsciousness, which is named by many galactic and intergalactic species source, because it is the source of all consciousness, of all life force, life energy, really. This consciousness, we are all a fractal of it, because we are all a part of this consciousness incarnated into matter, body. When the ancient scriptures say that we are at the image of God, I know that it is not the physical flesh and blood bodies that are at the image of a God. God then is not a human being with supernatural powers. No. We are at the image of God means we are a fractal of source. We are within the soul, not the body. The soul is at the image of the Creator because it's a fractal of the Creator. That's what it means. So that's
Susan's asking from Lyra, interesting. Is that what the new book is about?
I've spoken, no, well, yes, I mentioned it. I mentioned the seeding in Lyra in my book, yes. I spoke more about Lyra in my previous book. We describe more what all the different races and species and cultures are. I will mention, yes, the seeding in Lyra in my next book also, yes.
Now, cannabis, people believe that it came from another place and they brought it here for humans. We've got cannabinoid receptors in our body, which matches, but they say that the cannabis plant is actually not from Earth and it was brought here from somewhere else. Any thoughts on that?
I do not know. I do not have the answer. I know one thing. I know that cannabis oil is the most approaching to human skin oil. That when you put cannabis oil on your skin, it goes within and it's a perfect match. That I know. That's all I know.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm sure a lot of people will be happy to hear that. Because of, it's actually a wonder plant and it's, healing, and they've demonized it, made people believe it's a bad thing, but they've inverted and perverted everything. So it seems like things are kind of backwards here, or we're trying to correct the things that have been, totally kind of backwards. So has anything happened to you in the last maybe year? Any changes, anything major? I know there were some people that were talking about you and saying things about you, and then I was like, well, I want to bring her back on just so you can talk about, maybe answer, for anybody that may be wondering, what maybe transformation that you've gone through.
Well, it's always the story of the caterpillar and the butterfly. The the other caterpillars will be scared of the butterfly. Well, meeting the Intergalactic Confederation, who are 20,000 years in advance technologically upon us, and who are amazing, mind-blowing cultures and beings, it changes you in a way that it just scrape away all the crust and the layers, and you're just there in the light, and you see who you are. And that's when I remembered where I came from, where my planetary matrix is. And there is nothing now between who I am and what you see. Before, I was just on a journey to remember, because we need to forget in order to experience. Meeting the Intergalactic Confederation, the Cedars, and especially their upper management, the Nine super consciousness, changes you in a way that it doesn't change you. It shifts your frequency to your real frequency higher. And people see you change, but in fact you got closer to your true nature. And that's where we're all going. We are all going there. We're all meant to be like this. That's the natural state of human being. That's how we are in the future. And we're still starting to be in the present. But what you don't recognize anymore, you outcast it, you're scared of it, sometimes you're aggressive. I had a friend, she had 2 dogs for years and years, and they were adorable. She was wearing the same perfume all her life, all the time. She had the dogs years. One day she changed perfume. She wore new perfume. She came back home. The dogs didn't recognize the smell, and they attacked her, and they ate her, they killed her. That frequency is like a smell. When you change frequency, the people who used to know you do not recognize you. But it's not only still you, but it's even more you. So that's what had happened to me. And the more I have interactions with them, the more I am become settled in who I am. And it's a kind of a bliss. Um, and to those who are scared of seeing this change, I will say, well, this is how you should be, and this is how your children and grandchildren will be. And maybe you will achieve this stage before you leave this incarnation, which I really wish it to you. This is a human of terror in their bodies. And then, I reconnect with my easy, my soul. So I know now who I am. And that's why the frequency is different, of course, and it scares people. Don't be scared. It's how things should be, and they will. So, yes.
So would that be maybe like a true definition of evolution? Like people are evolving, you're evolving, we continue to evolve while we're here? Because I've never wanted a tattoo because I've never thought in 5 years from now I'm going to evolve so much. Would I really want that same tattoo permanently on my body? So I've never gotten a tattoo because, throughout my almost 50 years here, I'm, continually evolving.
Yes, that is evolution. Yes.
So what's next for you? You got your book. Are you, that's what your plan? Any other plans for you? Any trips to any other galaxies? Like, do you have anything in store? And can you request some of these trips? Like, could you send out messages and say, hey, I need to go here. I need a ride. I'm going to put out my thumb. I'm going to hitchhike and, pick me up.
The thing is, they taught me how to start a scout ship. I know how to start a ship. I know how to give impulse to go somewhere. Like I do not know how to set up the route, but so they didn't show me that. And I can start it and make it move. That's what I can do.
They don't
But
want you stealing. They don't want you stealing any of their ships and taking off and going for a joyride.
women driving is dangerous. So give me full control. Um, I nearly crashed on Mars. That was a bad experience. The first time I tried to see because you drive it with the thought, by thought. So whatever you focus on, you go there. I was heading for Mercury, and I saw Mars, and I went, "Oh my God, that's Mars!" And the ship just went very quickly towards it, and the pilot just took things in hand very quickly. It's very good reflex.
Are you allowed to do a selfie, a photograph any of these aliens or other beings? You have like, pictures of that you share with, people, like say, hey, yeah, this is my buddy from here and he's looking a little bit different than what most humans would look like?
So there are two things. Bringing photographic evidence would put me in danger because I had sweating in my house in the 24 hours, destroying everything and maybe intimidating me or many blood or everything. So they do not allow me to have that for my safety. But then one day I sneaked my phone. It doesn't work. It doesn't work because of two things. When you are in the same density as the device, you have powerful electromagnetic fields on board these ships, and the devices are jammed. It just don't start. It doesn't start. It doesn't start. You can't start it. It doesn't open. It just doesn't switch on. And second, sometimes you are in higher densities, so forget about it.
Now, you said it would put you in danger. Who would that, like, what would, what would you be afraid of? Like, what would the danger be if you, were to expose something like this too soon?
Intimidation and threats. They wouldn't kill me because killing me would prove that everything I do and I say is right, true. So the best is to intimidate someone, discredit someone. But what I would fear in this case is that, yes, a SWAT team would arrive in the house in a few hours. I know people who have had evidences, and the evidences were taken back by the aliens before the agency, and the MIT came and take everything and either beat the person or take him or her, or so it's as long as there are certain organizations in power on this planet, you cannot bring evidence, or you can, but you're in trouble.
Do you know anything about, or could you tell us anything about RH blood, RH negative, but I guess RH blood in general? I'm not sure if RH negative is any different than RH blood, but she said RH negative.
Well, so yes, I speak about all of this in my first book, The Gift and the Stars. So RH is by nature neutral or negative. It's been called negative because of the positive. So RH is neutral by nature, but there is a protein called protein B, like Dennis B, which has been added to the blood. Certain type of blood, at the start it was the type O, to be able to hybridize, to breed this blood with reptilian blood. So this protein, and other also, but reptilians and all. So this protein has been there put into the human blood. And so if you have, it's passed on to all the other blood types now. So if you have this protein, you are plus, RH plus. If you don't have it, like original, you are RH negative.
Now, is there any amount of money someone could pay to get like a space taxi to Mars, or, or would you have to, be at a certain place that they just wouldn't take anybody and show anybody? If you're not ready, you're not ready. It doesn't matter how much money you would offer to, say, go on a trip like this.
They do not, the people I know do not work with money, but I think if you will be very, very soon able with money to go to Mars. We have colonies there. Ask Bezos and Musk and all these people who are building, developing colonies there. I think you very in before 10 years you'll be able to go there with money.
Have you been to Mars?
Not yet. Well, I nearly crashed on it once. You know what? I'm not allowed at the moment because there are humans of Earth on it, and it's human regulation. So, and I'm a civilian. I'm considered a civilian, and so it's complicated.
Now, I was talking to someone who has a lot of, deep information on, um, military kind of, space kind of stuff. And he was telling me that there are actually people that have a normal life, wife and kids, and they go to work and they go into a building and, they punch in their clock or whatever. And then they go into a place where they get shipped to like Mars, and they're gone for Mars for whatever 4 or 5 hours. And then they come back, and then they come, go back out the building, go back in their car, come home, kiss their wife, feed their dog, and just act like they have like a normal life, but they're actually, working on Mars. Is this something that you could potentially verify?
Oh, I know that's true. Absolutely, absolutely. They have shuttles to Mars. It's very close. You're here very, very quickly. Yes, of course, they commute to Mars. Yeah, I know that's. I can confirm. Yes.
Wow. So, but they're actually
The moon as well.
military. So they're
Military.
military. So that's
Military.
why you couldn't, they're civilian, like you're a civilian. And that's why that would interfere with whatever military operation
Yes,
that's
that's
going on there.
exactly. I'm a civilian. I'm not in part of any military, so that's why I'm not allowed in the space programs and all the places like Mars or Moon, Luna, Earth, Moon. Because the all these people are military. All the space programs, it's military organization and cooperation with the Federation. Because why the military only? Why not civilian? Because military are organized organizations, organized, and they obey to a structure. They are very respectful of the hierarchy, and everything works perfectly. If you put civilians in there, it's chaos in one day, 24 hours, it's chaos. So, not yet for the civilians. It's coming. Very, it's coming. That's why it's only military go on the moon and Mars. And scientists, of course, but scientists who are hired work in the military, contractors or people like that.
Now, you say since you're a civilian, do you pledge your allegiance to any faction, anyone, or anything? Or are you just kind of a free spirit just trying to figure this whole thing out?
I do not pledge allegiance. Even the military in the Galactic Federation of Worlds, they do not pledge allegiance. They are performing their task of their free will. They enroll because they believe in the cause and they want to help, and it's a work. It's like going to work. So they are respecting the directives of the officer or the person above them. But if they can say, no, I don't agree, and I don't feel I want to do it. But they usually don't do that because there's kind of collective understanding on what is necessary to be done, and they have respect. It's not obedience, it's respect. It's a different structure.
Have you been asked to do any missions? Like, have they said like you have certain tasks, certain missions, certain things that you need to get done while you're here?
Well, the messages I'm given to pass sometimes is difficult, but I need to. Well, I'm invited to do this, and I do it because I pass on these messages because it's what I came for, and I want to do it. It's the kind of mission that they give to me.
If you came across a genie with a magic lamp and you got to rub the magic lamp and you got 3 wishes, what would you wish for?
Wishes. That the humans of Terra finally get their stuff together and stand up against manipulation and fear and unite. Wake up to manipulation. That would be my first wish, that they really realize, wake up and stand for themselves. Because what we've been doing is for them to do that, to help them do that. And that's my first wish. Like, why do you do it? Do it. Second and third, I don't know. I have to think about that.
What about personally for yourself? What do you still want to accomplish while you're here?
Because I came for this, and this is the whole experience, the whole journey, my soul journey, my experience. I'm an experiencer. I experience development of human cultures, humankind throughout different cultures and how it works. And coming here, I came to help the liberation of the Earth people. And I have a role to play, which is giving messages and bringing hope, keeping hope. I'm a keeper of hope. I came here for hope. That you do not lose hope, and that also you focus yourselves on discovering who you are. And that's the work I came to help you, entice you to do this, and help you keep hope and showing you hope. That's a call, a passion. That's not work. It's
Yeah, so that's very honorable because that's the exact same thing for me is, came here to liberate the people. And so, we have different roads and different journeys and different thoughts and different things, but we're still on the same mission here together is to free, the humanity from this dark, shadow that's been, looking to destroy all that's good here.
yes, yes, and they are afraid of the dark. They are afraid of us. And once we realize that, wow, what are they afraid of? That first we unite, but also that we stop being distracted. We refuse the distraction and the fear, control, and discover our power, who we are. And that scared them so much. because we are way more powerful than all these grays reptilians who claim the earth once. You know, because I know you told me you have a few YouTube channels deleted, but I want you to keep this one.
Do you see in the future, do you see visions of how things are supposed to be here? Because I've seen this for a very long time, how things are actually supposed to be here. And I think that's one of the things that motivates me so much is that I know it's supposed to be a lot better than it is here. And things like, we could actually communicate without words. We can manifest things. Things are, we're a lot more powerful than we're led to believe, and I've seen these type of visions. So just your thoughts on that.
Yes, how things are at the moment, it's not how it should have been. It should be. We've been dumped down. Our technological evolution has been stopped and hijacked by bad ones. Okay, um, because they wanted to transform us as slaves, as stupid, dumb slaves who just obey and be assimilated, like orgs and stuff. They've stopped our technological evolution. We should have free energy. We should have better lifestyle. No pollution, no fossil fuel. They, this profit also, etc. Money and all these things that will disappear. The future should be the present. How I see the future, it should in fact, that's how things should be now. We have 100 years delay in our evolution. We've been stolen 100 years, and there are thousands of patents that are blocked. You know, of course, not talking about all the Tesla things, and they did all the confiscated and etc. The future, yes. Well, free energy is the energy from from nature, the wind, the sun, the wave power, the earth heat. It's also free energy. It's energy from the void, zero point energy. Um, that's hard. You can harvest that in the void of space. You have that there. It's everywhere. You cannot. It's always there. It's it's always regenerating. So that once you do not pay bills anymore because it's free. If, for instance, you produce, I don't know, vegetables, you will have no bills to pay for the light, the water, the electricity. So you will sell your food way cheaper, and also the quality of life increases, and everybody eats better. It's gonna change very quickly, and the anti-gravity technology also is at our doors. It's just a matter of time. It's really here. And electric cars, it's going to be just a transition. Anti-gravity is there. It's coming. It's how things work everywhere. And all the galactic people use anti-gravity mass cancellation to travel. So that's coming.
Now, if you were walking down the road and, it was say in the evening, kind of later by yourself, and you never got a message that you were going to be picked up, and just some ship came and just showed up and said, Elena, we need you to come with us. Would you go?
It depends on who it is. I know very well how the ships of the Federation look like. I know the frequency, and I would have confirmation or not from my contacts who say get on board the ship or so first, what's the shape of the ship and how does the frequency respond? And, I'm totally monitored 24/7. So if there is any threat or danger, I'm instantly informed and
So besides when you were, abducted, when you were very, very young, say in the last, say 5 years, have you had their try to abduct you? Have you had these beings try to coerce you, try to convince you maybe that they were, of a light when they were actually, they might not have, they were there to maybe take you or to harm you or in some way?
They are very deceptive. In 2020, December 2020, my protector, friend Farhan, was sent on a mission in another third step. So he wasn't there to look after me. There's another Galactic who looks after me and us. And there was one moment where he was taken away for occupied with something else. In this hour, I was more vulnerable, and I was taken. And I was taken on board a ship that I didn't recognize. Um, and a guy was there. He said, "Oh, I'm in front of Thorhan, and he's coming. He's waiting for it. He's going to come." I said, "But it's another star system. Where am I?" And the frequency seems unusual. I didn't recognize the frequency. And I was abducted on board this weird ship. And it was, well, I didn't even know if it was a ship because it was huge or a base, somewhere. It was corridors and rooms, and this guy was tall, tan skin, black hair, green eyes. He was quite handsome, and he told me an Earth name, but he said he's Muki. That's something wrong. And he said, "Someone is coming. He's coming in front of his, and he's asked me to show you this ship, and that's very interesting things that you need to learn here." And he showed me a room, and we passed by a room, and I saw small graves in the room, and that's small graves. And yeah, they're nice ones, they're the good ones, and they're learning instructions from an instructor for a mission. And, and then he led me to a room where there was a door open, and the door opened, and there were small graves with medical tables and instruments. And I ran away in the corridor, and I connected to someone. I shouted his name, and it triggered the implant. And it went from communication. So if he's the other side of the galaxy, it still hears me. The connection works. So that happened very, very, very fast. He sent his friends, Valnek and Seladon, two guys who were part of the team who rescued me. They're my friends, to rescue me. And it happened in like 5 minutes. The scout ship arrived. I mean, I was teleported outside of the ship, and I fell on the grass. It was night somewhere, I don't know where it was. And then I could see the huge rectangular mothership. And I went, "That's the Reptilian ship." I knew that. It was a sea-car ship. They are rectangular flat. And the guy fell beside me. They were my friends, shooting at him, and the guy was a shapeshifter, a reptilian. And the one injured him, and I think he shot him. And my other friend rescued me. But the thing is, I received a laser shot in my leg, and it really burned me. It was really painful. And then I was brought back into my bedroom. And when I was visiting my family at that time, I got up. My legs are wet, and I had blades of grass in my stuck to my side of my feet, and my leg was hurting. I wanted to go into the bathroom to see the wound. I took a photo of it. It's in my book. But I go in the corridor, and my mother stands in the corridor, and she's like completely panicked and disturbed. She said, "Did you see the bright light in your room? There was a flash of bright light." And Yes, Mom, I was teleported, but I didn't say that. It was like, what happened here? And yes, so if you feel something is not right, it's because something is not right. So that was another story that happened.
Why do you think that they want humans eating bugs? Do you think that do reptiles or some of these aliens, do they eat bugs and they want us to be like them, or is because some of them are hybrids that they should be eating bugs? It's a
I,
push right now for us to eat
yeah,
more bugs, and is there maybe a reason behind it?
it's an agenda of the DS, the dark ones. And the thing is to, I don't know if you've noticed, some influential people of the dark side have been buying as much fields or crops as possible to create a world global famine. And then people would eat bugs. And that's a way to humiliate us, to bring us down to precarious, and lifestyle, and to really humiliate us and enslave us. They try everything. It's all their cards are there. So don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. I've seen the future. Nature is everywhere. Everyone is eating a lot of beautiful vegetables, fruits of the earth, and it's wonderful. So don't fall for this. Just ignore it. Ignore. Nothing to do. Go within.
Do you eat animals, and do you think that animals are supposed to be eaten by humans?
There is a stage in the evolution of the human being where you need to eat proteins from animal flesh. But then you can get rid of that. You can pass through a stage where you do not need to eat this, and that's part of the evolution. When you reach a certain evolution, you do not eat flesh anymore. It's a question of frequency. You know, um, everything that has a face and a heart, you stop eating it. Blood, you stop taking blood. You stop eating blood because animal blood will keep you at the frequency of blood, and you are what you eat, and at the frequency level. Do I eat? So no, I don't eat flesh. And as since I met with the cedars, the nine, and other beings, my frequency really attuned to who I am, and I'm not able to eat flesh anymore. I tried just as an experiment. It makes me so sick, and I I know it's a frequency poisoning. It's frequency poisoning. But don't force yourself if you feel your body still needs to eat animal flesh, or you know do it. Do not hurt your body. If you feel you need to release it, do it. Okay, you need to be healthy. The evolution doesn't come with it. Changing the diet helps, the frequency. The change is within, in the head, in the consciousness, the awareness, and then the body will follow. I never tried to stop eating meat by conviction. I tried. It was difficult. Then it went naturally. One day I was disgusted. Oh my God, I'm not eating other beings. That's horrible. And I tried, and I was sick, sick, thought I would die. And every time I tried, I went like 3 or 4 times different types of meat, and that was it. So I went, okay, I understand. That's great. I've changed. I went, oh, fantastic.
Yeah, I stopped eating meat almost 5 years ago. I stopped drinking alcohol almost 9 years ago. Stopped synthetic drugs, almost all synthetic drugs. I don't even take Tylenols or anything. Almost 8.5 years ago, and then I stopped cigarettes. Almost 8 years ago, and then stopped the meat. But I still eat eggs. And I actually enjoy them. That's one of the things I have almost daily. What's your thoughts on eggs, and is that different than eating flesh?
Well, you are a good example. You give a good example because you said you enjoy eggs and you need to eat it because your body requires them at your stage, in your progression. You so eat them. Be attentive to the needs of this body because it's your vehicle. Put the right petrol in it. what I mean?
Mhm.
Rat fuel. But eggs, it's different. You don't have the blood. Eggs are like big stem cells, or not, but um, it's less harmful at a vibration level because consciousness has not yet been embedded in it. So it's still okay. It's still okay. It's not the highest frequency, but an egg is a non-fertile egg. It's way less harmful. Yes, it's good. Yeah.
Evie from our Facebook is saying, can she tell us about the noise coming out of the galaxy? Are those just echoes, or is that signals like communication trying to other places or trying to send messages to Earth saying, you're not alone?
Well, everything is frequencies, and frequencies can be heard if you have the right instruments to decrypt them. Stars have a song frequency, planets, even humans, we have our own frequency. Do you ever? I have this app to listen to the plants with. You stick it on me. You have electrodes. You stick, and there's a phone app, and you hear the frequency of the plants, or even the frequency of your own body. But it's the same for stars and the galaxies and the universe. If you have the right instrument to convert the frequency into sound, you can listen to the song of the stars. It's absolutely amazing. But then you cannot hear anything when you're in space because you need particles of any kind of atmosphere to carry sound, audible sound. So the frequencies are mute, you don't hear them. You need technology to transcript them, and to hear them. So I mean, there's sound from everywhere, everywhere. Of course, when you have a civilization, it broadcasts signals into space, so like radio signals, and possibly you can see them, hear them with technology.
So, dolphins and whales, they hear these sense of frequencies. They can hear if miles away there's someone in distress, another dolphin or a whale, they can feel this. The frequencies vibrate throughout the ocean. Do you think like that is like that through space, where they can feel these frequencies? Like when you called out to Thor, they can feel these frequencies and vibration through interdimensionally or hyperdimensionally, or throughout our galaxy.
Yes, all of these points. The water, the dolphins. Oh, the water is a superfluid. It has vortex structure in its particles. So any kind of thoughts, communication, or sound goes really well for water. Now in space, of course, the frequencies they travel. If you have the right technology, of course, to decrypt them. When it's brainwave frequency set on a target of someone else, talking about quantum entanglement, someone else's brain, the other person's brain will hear the frequency and decrypt, decode it, and hear the voice. That's how it works. Okay? That's how I work with the frequencies. No, when we use the technology, it's quantum, so it doesn't travel through space. But for instance, you have some types of telepathy where the frequencies travel through space. That happens, and you can use that too. And it's mute and it's silent until it reaches out to the other brain, and the brain will decrypt it. And you will hear it. So you always need some kind of device, organic or technology.
Now, when a human goes into space, they need a spacesuit because of, the radiation or whatever it is. You have to go onto a ship or a suit. Are there any aliens, or have you seen any creatures? Have you seen anything that can actually fly around in space with no spacesuit or no ship? Like, say, like if we were to say Superman can go fly through, different galaxies, and he's just the man of steel. He doesn't need a ship or a mask. Have you ever seen any like super creatures that don't need to be in a ship or a spacesuit to be out in space?
The only ones I've seen are synthetic rays, because if you are an organic body, you cannot survive in space because you need your own environment, air, pressure. You die straight away if you don't have that. Uh, Now, when you have consciousness imbued in dull bodies, like small rays do, um, yes, you don't need to breathe, eat, or anything else. You're just in a synthetic body, and that doesn't require any atmosphere pressure. And yes, these can be in space. I met Grace when I was abducted only on board a ship. So, but I know that the synthetics could be in space.
What's the farthest you've ever been from Earth?
In this incarnation, um, Al-Nilam in the Orion Belt, 2,000 light years.
2,000 light years away. Wow, that's quite the journey.
Yeah, but we used we used a vortex to get there.
A which?
A vortex, a wormhole. We didn't
Oh,
travel linearly. It's impossible. It is, I wouldn't be here. I could still be traveling until we got home. And we used a portal, a wormhole.
so would that be similar to like the Stargate that was in Iraq? Like you would go into a certain Stargate and transport through, or is this different? Is that more human technology that was given by someone that we can use, where you're using more alien vortexes to go through, or is it basically the same thing?
So you have different types of stargates and vortexes. When I went to Al Nilam, I took a wormhole, which is a vortex. Wormhole is a shortcut through space time. So it's linear travel, linear, but you travel physically, but via a shortcut. That's a wormhole. Now it's a black hole without a singularity, if you prefer. Now the star gates, something different. It's teleportation device. You like dial is the right word. You dial a frequency key, and that is the frequency key of the destination, and it works as quantum resonance. You need to have another stargate at the destination, otherwise you cannot go through. It's quantum, uh, translocation. That's the stargate. So I haven't. I don't have the memory to have used the Stargate not in this life anyway, but I tried a wormhole. Because in a ship, so once you're in a ship, you don't feel anything because the habitat is of pressure and gravity, so you don't even realize. I felt a bit dizzy. There was a lot of light, so it was quite a dizzy memory.
Now, what about any aliens out there that you know of that actually eat humans? And did you meet any? And did possibly when you saw them, when you met them, did they like lick their lips, but no, they can't have you, but you look like a tasty morsel to them?
I haven't had these encounters. I just met a reptilian shapeshifter in the story I just told with on board the ship with a shot in the leg. But yes, the reptilians eat human flesh. They love it, and I don't know your audience, but I won't say too much more details. But it needs to be alive. Reptilians, they do that. But I'm aware that there are other species, non-reptilians, who do eat other people's flesh. But listen, you know, we eat flesh of other animals, other species, as humans of Terra. Period.
So did you actually meet a reptilian, and what was that like? Did it feel a little bit scary that, they could potentially want to eat you?
I didn't meet a reptilian. So, as I was saying, I just met this hybrid shapeshifter, Naga, on board that ship. So. And he
They
didn't want to eat me. He wanted to. He had a mission, was to take me into this Gray's custody. Yeah.
So are you afraid at all? Do you live your life with no fear? Whatever happens, happens. You just go with the flow and you know that you're protected?
Yes, I have no fear. I've given up to be enslaved to fear a long time ago. Um, of course, I trust in those who protect me, but what gives me confidence is that I trust in my own capacity, ability to protect myself. So once you have that, you, you don't fear anything. And when you have this awareness that you are immortal, we are all immortal. This is a temporary incarnation. If you leave this body, you're known. That's fine. I mean, you decide to leave your friends and family, but you can come back and complete what you've started. And once you're aware of that, you know that these bodies are just borrowed flesh suit for a little while. What do you want to fear? Nothing can kill us. We are immortal souls. You can't kill soul.
Yeah, energy never dies. It only transfers. So, ultimately you're just protected. And that's one of the biggest, misconceptions what they've tried to put onto humanity is to fear death, to fear dying. And in turn, a lot of people forget to live because they're too worried about dying.
That's it. Exactly. You've said it very well.
Alina from our Facebook, she's like, how can someone recognize a reptilian? And I guess she means if someone's in human form as an actual reptilian that is looking at them as potential food or for whatever else, but they're in human form. How could the regular person that doesn't have all these experiences, how would they know if someone was a reptilian in their life trying to get close to them or someone that they loved?
So first, you have all these. They have a specific aura where you feel like a predator aura. You feel like you're in presence of a predator. Sometimes you can think it's a narcissistic pervert person, this type of sociopath. Not always, of course. But so you have first this aura of narcissism and power and predator. That really radiates strongly from them. Then they are tall. They are very tall. Tall people. They usually have black hair. That's something they have difficulty to do blonde hair. Although they can mimic Brazilians or Nordic as well. They can mimic with practice, and they can do that. But normally, when they just shape, normally they have black hair, any type of color of skin. They can be, African type. They can do Caucasian. They can do different types of features. But the thing is, the size. They have usually narrow shoulders regarding compare with the ratio of the laps. You know, the laps are very very large, very muscular. They have very muscular legs and tinier torso. Um, they have strong jawline, very strong jawline. The eyes, look at the eyes. They have normally a narrower forehead. The eyes are, they need to wet their eyes regularly. So stare at their eyes and wait for it. You will have lateral uh, uh, eyelid that will go. Wait for it like this. See that. They can hide their sleep pupils, but at the moment they do that, That's a glitch, and you can see it. Um, that's what I would say.
What about when you see people like politicians? I think we've seen Hillary and Obama, some of them, they have flies swarming around them. Are they, are they vampires? Are they dark entities? Like, some people say that they have bad breath and they have flies, and some people associate it to maybe adrenochrome, that they drinking lots of blood, and that's why we're having that. You're not sure about that.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have the answers.
Are there immortals that are feeding off and drinking blood and living here for thousands and potentially more? Do you think that there's actual, like, potentially Tom Cruise could be a vampire, and some of these other people that that are maybe suspect of potentially being here for a very long time?
Well, some beings, well, first you consider that the soul is immortal. But then some beings want to keep their incarnation as long as possible to, because they have a greedy mind, and they want to accumulate richness, and so they want to prolongate their life and richness and power. So there are different ways to prolongate your life, and some ways are not very ethical, So then I do not know who does what. I keep away from that because it's distraction. It's not important, really. The important is you.
Now, the important us, and I'm 100% in alignment there. And Linda says, I believe everyone listening has some reptilian in them. I don't believe in that. I know there's people that say that we all have a reptilian brain and we're all part reptiles. We're all hybrids of, this. I don't subscribe to that theory, but I was wondering, do you think that, all humans here have reptilian in them?
So now, yes and no. There is a misunderstanding because there are very, very few humans who have reptilian extraterrestrial DNA, unless they have been hybridized in some ways. Uh, their ancestors and their bloodline, people have been hybridized with extraterrestrial hybrids. That can happen. Okay, that may even happen a lot. That's because there's been abduction and hybridization program. Now, there is something else that we call the reptilian part in the brain. That is something that is totally different. That comes from genetic memory, from the development of the original creature on Earth, was a primate who was started to be experimented upon by the seeders. This tiny primate had evolved from reptiles, from the water and reptiles, and then the evolution, normal evolution. So there's a part in this primate brain that has a reminiscence in the structure of the reptilian part of the evolution of this creature, but it's totally Earth made, you know. So that's what the reptilian part in the brain is. It has nothing to do with reptilian genes that could be inherited from hybridization of your ancestors with extraterrestrial reptilians. They're two different things.
But some people actually have reptilian genes here that have
Yes,
actually been so, but
yes.
not everybody has
Not
that.
everybody. Not everybody.
Yeah, I believe that, but I'm still trying to figure out this whole reptile thing. But I think we've done really well here for, the sound. The sound has gotten better at some places. There was an echo. It sounded like you were like an alien in some places, because it was like echoing. We could hear talking in behind you, and the mic was kicking in and out. So, but I think,
Oh,
I think we got the a good interview here. So I really appreciate
oh,
you sharing your time here with us and answering questions here for us. That is quite amazing. So we're normally Facebook, Twitter, and Rumble. We go live, and then we upload to Bitchute and Telegram. But I know that Elena here has got quite a big YouTube audience, so we used our backup YouTube channel, which is the Forbidden History Chronicles, is what we're on right now. So for anybody that's here, that's that listens to Elena and came here because she posted it, and thank you very much for doing that. We're the missing link. That's what we are. It's love inspiring new knowledge, and we're trying to find any missing links that are out there and educate anybody willing to listen. So if we're not usually on this YouTube channel, so appreciate anybody that has subscribed, but in the description there's our channels where you can click on to actually find the missing links. And this is our 289th interview that we've done in the last year and a half. We've interviewed over 30 doctors. We've interviewed David Icke and Del Bigtree and Corey Good and all kinds of people that are out there. And we just keep trying to interview everybody that we potentially can. So thanks again, Elena, for doing this. Anything you want to share about your website that we didn't maybe get into?
On my website, elenadanaan.org, you can find everything there, my books and everything. I have very interesting features. I let you discover it.
And any final thoughts, any final message that you wanted to leave everybody here with a message of hope and love?
Yes. Hope is knowing that the sun is there and it's going to rise, but you're still in the middle of the night. But you know the sun is going to rise. That's hope. Even if you don't see it, you know it's there. That's hope. I would ask everyone to respect everyone else. Speak only to say something empowering, positive, and kind and useful. Otherwise, maybe don't. Be kind to each other and respect. Kindness and respect. Respect. Speak words of respect. We need to move forward.
I love that. Thank you so much. We've got 2 missing links tomorrow. We are interviewing. Where are we? Nicole Personette and Elijah David. And then next week, we've got David Rodriguez, and we've also got Carrie Cassidy from the Project Camelot. So those are 2 interviews that we are having next week. So please subscribe. Thanks, everybody, for all your likes, comments, hearts, shares, and stars. We appreciate you all, and respect everyone. We are all different. We are all going through this journey. If you can respect everyone around you, then we'll all be better for it. So thanks again. Sending love to you and everybody watching, and appreciate you again coming on here and sharing your story here on The Missing Link. Thanks, Elena.
Thanks for what you're doing. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay, bye, everyone.